Hey y'all, it's Horse Thief. Let's talk about boost build. By the end of this video, you should know the key items, treasures, and characters you need to get this comp off the ground. But let's begin with the end in mind. Here is an endgame board. When you take a look at this, you'll see a lot of the key treasures, characters, and items in play that I'll be touching on here shortly. What I really want you to have, though, for reference is just a quick rubric for possible positioning depending on what you may or may not have. But let's not just look at this board, let's look at a second one. Here's another example of a boost board in an endgame state. This is right before winning this lobby, and you'll notice a lot of the same key characters that we are about to touch on. Just wanted to show you these two boards so that you had an idea of what you might be doing positioning wise. So you've seen where we're going to end up, but how do you get there? The key piece to the boost build is the Mage Gloves treasure on level 5. That doubles the boost effects of your boosters. You're going to be playing at least 4 crucial boosters, but probably at least 5 of them. The second key treasure is the Magic Scarf on level 6, which doubles your auras. Merlin becomes a big part of the process, and Merlin's aura adds an additional boost. The Magic Scarf makes Merlin add 2 additional boosts instead. I'd also like to touch on some modifier treasures that could be very handy for your build. The first of them being Baby Mimic, which attaches to the next treasure you take, doubling its effect. Golden Mimic, of course, being a better Baby Mimic, doubles the effect of all the treasures you have. Wish for Nothing, of course, is the best of the batch in that it quadruples the effect of your other treasures. However, one thing to keep in mind is that when a multiplier multiplies another multiplier, let's say you had a boost item on a booster that doubles the boost, and then you get a treasure that doubles the boost again, and then you get a mimic that doubles that boost one more time. Each additional double is not multiplying the last multiplier, it is adding +1 instance. So if you have a doubler and another doubler and another doubler, you actually have 4 effects going off, not 8. I'd also like to mention treasures that affect the level of the next treasure you take. Since this build is a late game build and requires level 5 and 6 treasures, getting a Jack's Magic Bean, a Blackbeard's Curse Spyglass, or a Pirate Map early may allow you to find the key treasure in order to get started a little bit sooner. One honorable mention treasure I'd like to touch on is Divine Messenger. Divine Messenger says that your boosters on the back row affect your entire front row. Of course, this is very, very good with the boost comp, and it may be the kind of treasure that you just keep around for the whole entire game if you find it. That said, it is not crucial necessarily to winning the game. The doubler treasures are much, much more important. However, this is a very potent treasure in the boost build. Let's talk about the key characters in the boost build. First and foremost, you have Uther Pendragon. Uther Pendragon says, Aura, your front row boosters boost all of your back row. If a booster or aura character except me in the front row dies, keep the buff for the fight. Also applies a 4-2 boost. Uther is the linchpin to this build because Uther wants to go all the way in the very back corner, position 7 on your board, and Uther allows your front row boosters to send that boost backwards and also maintain that effect. That becomes very crucial for the rest of this build. Other level 5 character that you're going to run is Lady of the Lake, which again, like Uther, has a small boost, but the real effect we care about is boosters' boosts are applied 1 additional time. So Lady of the Lake only affects other boosters, but when Lady of the Lake is boosting another booster, that effect goes off 1 extra time. Very important to this. Those are the 2 level 5 characters that we care about, and you're going to see that these are very expensive characters that open up late game. So this is, like I've been saying, a later game build. You've also got Lady Guinevere. Very similar to Lady of the Lake, does not need to boost a booster necessarily. Lady Guinevere says anybody being boosted catches that boost an additional time. So all of your boosters boost then are doubled up on whoever is being boosted. And then the Wise Merlin, very important to this build, says Aura, your boosters boosts are applied 1 additional time. Also comes with a small boost of 4/4. Very important to get another instance of boost yet again. So you're seeing how these boosts are amplifying and building on top of each other. While these are the 4 key characters, typically you're going to find that you run these 4 plus an additional Merlin, an additional Lady of the Lake, or an additional Guinevere, because that will really make the numbers get a lot bigger too. Finally, let's look at the most important items for this build. Those are the Aura Amplifier, which says double my wearer's aura. You'll notice Uther Pendragon has an aura and the Wise Merlin has an aura. In this case, we want to double the aura of Merlin because that's the one that's giving us another boost effect. There is no purpose or reason to double up Uther's aura. The other really important rune is Merlin's rune, which says double my wearer's boost ability. You can see how that makes a lot of sense in a boost build, of course. That rune typically is very effective on Guinevere first and foremost, but depending on your particular boost configuration, it's really good to move it around and just kind of see which numbers end up being the biggest. Now that you know what you're looking for, let's watch a fight play out from a boost build I made the other day and talk about pros and cons. Pros is very flexible. You can add in a variety of other carry units. You can fill in the last 2 slots that are not occupied by boosters. Typically, your boosters are going to want to occupy 5 slots like you see here in the video. You can fill in the last 2 slots with other stuff, and there are a lot of options there. You can get kind of creative with that. Also, you need 2 individual 5 drops, you need 2 individual 6 drops. So while it's a late game build and you can't start building it early, it does assemble relatively quickly, and your stats do go up relatively quickly once you start finding your boosters, and especially once you start upgrading your boosters. However, it is also a very complicated build. This has been a build that's been a bit of a brain breaker for some of the streamers, and it's certainly, I've been no exception. The good news is you don't necessarily need to know how it all works. You just need to move your numbers around on the board until they match up for whatever it is you're going to fight. Also requires very specific high level treasures to pull off, which makes it very much a late game build. And it does require a lot of expensive units that don't necessarily provide a lot of tempo when they first show up.